any plan to demolish the building before it fell. Shapiro's foxpaw was unwittingly let the cat out of the bag on the fact that Silverstein was aggressively pushing for the building to be intentionally demolished, a claim that he has always vociferously denied, presumably to safeguard against putting in doubt the massive insurance payout he received on the basis of the collapse was accidental. And, of course, then every engineer or demolition expert would say, how did you wire a burning building in a few minutes and do it so perfectly? For over 5 years since the infamous PBS documentary was aired, in which Silverstein states that the decision was made to pull the building, a construction term for controlled demolition, debunkers have attempted to perform all kinds of mental gymnastics in fudging the meaning behind the WTC leaseholder comments. I remember getting a call from the fire department commander. This is a quote. We're going to play it in a moment, the video, telling me that they were not sure that they were going to be able to contain the fire. And I said, we've had such a terrible loss of life, maybe the smartest thing to do is just pull it. And we made that decision to pull it, and we watched the building collapse. That's plain English. We made the decision to pull it and watched it collapse. Debunkers attempted to claim that Silverstein meant to pull the firefighters from the building due to the danger of the structure was in, and the explanation was also later claimed by Silverstein's spokesman. However, both FEMA report and the New York Times, even Popular Mechanics, reported that there were no firefighters' actions taken inside Building 7. Let's go ahead and play Silverstein now. Let's go ahead and play the audio and video of the text I just read to you. Here it is.
World Trade Center 7 had always been considered the starting point for rebuilding. Located north of the slurry wall, 7 had been cleared faster than the rest of the site, and there had been no bodies to recover. Pelted by debris when the North Tower collapsed.
Not true.
7 burned until late afternoon, allowing occupants to evacuate to safety.
I remember getting a call from the fire department commander telling me that they were not sure they were going to be able to contain the fire. I said, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
Now, what does pull it mean? In the encyclopedia, in demolition dictionaries, it means to pull it with explosives or cables, but to bring a building down in a controlled fashion. Now, on that same PBS documentary, they then cut to a month later, demolishing Building 6 and using the exact same term, pull it, in the same documentary, as if it isn't clear enough what that means. The makers of the film sure knew, because this is the next clip in the film. Here it is.
By mid-December, the Department of Design and Construction had leveled World Trade Center buildings 4 and 5.
Hello? Oh, we're getting ready to pull Building 6.
We have to be very careful how we demolish Building 6. We were worried about the Building 6 coming down and then damaging the slurry wall, so we wanted that particular building to fall within a certain area.
There's a certain excitement in the air of bringing the last structure down at the World Trade Center.
Okay, so over and over again, they're talking about controlled demolition using the term pull it. But they said, you didn't hear that on the news. That's been in newspapers. I'm a liar. And I go, but here's the CNN clip. Here's the Fox clip. Here's the local CBS clip. Here's the local Democracy Now! Clip when she just had a local show. We went and interviewed the police and said, well, what did you hear? There was a countdown. They said they were going to blow it up. They said, get back. And they said, you crazy conspiracy theorist, that's not what those cops meant. And firefighters on tape from the other towers going, there was molten metal. Jet fuel couldn't do that. It was like a foundry. It was like lava. Something's going on. Jet fuel doesn't do this. Those fires are almost out. We have the firefighter tapes they didn't release for 2 years where they're going. The fires are almost out. People are in buildings waving. Suddenly, those columns shatter. The buildings are turned into ash, into powder, blown from top down. Building 7 blown from the bottom. A classical controlled demolition. Now, let's go ahead and play clip 3. This is one of many from CNN and other channels where the police are saying, get back, get back. They're going to bring it down. They're going to blow it up. Here's that clip. CNN. You know what? Start it over. Back it up. You hear those explosions? explosion, and then it goes down. Okay, then this was re-aired on CNN. Play it again. Listen to this, and then the cops are talking. Listen.
Keep your eye on that building. It'll be coming down.
Building is about to blow up. Move it back.
Back here. All right, guys?
We are walking back. There's a building about to blow up. Flame. Debris coming down.
Just in the last few seconds, another building.
So Fox News says the building silently fell. But we have clip after clip. In fact, I want Watson, who's listening now, there's even better clips off the radio and TV. And there's, let's add to the video the clip of the head of Democracy Now!, Amy Goodman, with the cops saying, get back, and she starts running and you hear the blast. Let's add all that to it. And we have time later in the last hour. I'll play that. Let's go to another clip. Now, here's Dan Rather talking about how it looks like a controlled demolition. Here's Dan Rather.
Now, here we're going to show you a videotape of the collapse itself. Describe that. Now we go to videotape, the collapse of this building.
It's amazing.
Amazing, incredible, pick your word. For the third time today, it's reminiscent of those pictures we've all seen too much on television before, when a building was deliberately destroyed by well-placed dynamite to knock it down.
Now, last Friday, Willie Nelson was on with Larry King, and he said, well, I questioned 9/11 because Building 7 wasn't hit by a plane and fell. And King goes, no, they were all hit by planes. Just end of story. No, it was hit by a plane. No, it wasn't. They admit it wasn't. Now, let's play another clip here. This is BBC reporting Building 7 collapse 20-plus minutes before it fell. And then for 2 weeks, BBC denied this was real video and said that we were faking it. Then years later, they said, no, Reuters gave it to us. It's true. And for that 2-year period, they said they lost their archive tapes and that we were liars. And then, oh, wait, it is Jane Graham. It is our reporter. And, oh, it was on another BBC channel, and it was on CNN. So they put the story out it had fallen of natural causes on its own, in its own footprint, and right behind her through the window is Building 7. Here it is.
Now, more on the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing. And indeed it has. Apparently that's only a few hundred yards away from where the World Trade Center towers were. And it seems that this was not a result of a new attack. It was because the building had been weakened during this morning's attacks. We'll probably find out more now about that from our correspondent, Jane Stanley. Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
Well, only really what you already know. Details are very, very sketchy. There's almost a sense downtown in New York behind me, down by the World Trade Centers, of just an area completely closed off as the rescue workers try to do their job. But this isn't the first building that has suffered as a result.
All right,
we know
stay
that
there.
Part of the Marriott...
Back it up about 10 seconds. When we come back after this quick break, I'm going to finish the clip. Then we have Aaron Brown, 40 minutes before this, saying it had fallen, reading a script, and he looks behind him because he's from New York, and it's going, it's right there. See, all scripted. We'll be right back. But the bigger issue here is we've been telling the truth from the beginning that it was all over the news. They were going to blow up 7. Then they demolished it and then said, we never said that. And then Silverstein came out and said, no, we did have a controlled demolition. Then he said, oh, I didn't mean that. And now the media just shift gears again and said, okay, we were talking about blowing it up. It would have been easy to wire it up, but we didn't. It magically fell on its own. When every independent demolition expert that looks at it on record says, my God, that's a beautiful controlled demolition. Only, top experts could do that. Only a handful of companies. They tried to blow up the Intel building here in Austin that they built the skeleton of, but then Intel pulled out of Austin. When they blew it up a few years ago, it failed. A top firm, it failed. What was that building, 15 stories? They couldn't even blow it up. Continuing, let's go back to BBC reporting Building 7 has fallen the exact way it did fall, with the whole script, before it fell. And then